Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel Easy Sewing with Tyke. On the channel today we'll be drafting and cutting this gorgeous dress that I used for my civil wedding. So to all returning subscribers and viewers, thank you for always coming back and engaging on my videos. And if this is your first time here, my name is Taiwo and you're welcome. It's great to have you here. Be sure to watch till the end and don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share, and you can leave your questions in the comment below. Also, please stop skipping my ads. If you have been doing so, please kindly watch the ads as they pop up. Thank you. Now let's get started. Starting off with the lower part of this dress, that is the skirt part, and here's the front. So the line that I'm touching there is my half length. Okay, that's the waistline. The half length that I'm working with is 16.5, but what I have there is 16 inches. That means I've automatically added the half-inch allowance that I'm going to use to join this lower part to the upper part. So I'm going to label that the waistline. The next vertical measurement you can see there is the hip line, and that is the full length and the allowance. Now on the waistline, I'll go ahead and impute the waist measurements divided by 4, and I'll mark out what I have. On the hip line, I'll go ahead and impute the hip measurement divided by 4. For example, if the hip measurement is 40, 40 divided by 4 is 10, so I've marked out 10 inch. Then on this lower part, you want to go ahead and subtract 2 inches or more from your hip measurement, depending on how tapered, how pencil, how fitted you want that lower part to be. But for mine, I reduced it by 2 inch and I just connected the 3 points together using my ruler and my hip curve. Now on that center front, I came down by ½ inch and I'm going to slant it all the way to the side, because the waistline at the front is actually not straight, so you need to do this to have that perfect fit. This pattern of mine does not have any dart allowance because I will not be taking the dart on this skirt part. I'm going to slash and spoil it, but the back pattern will be having a dart allowance, and it does not have any sewing allowance as well. When I'm transferring to my fabric, I'll be adding the sewing allowance on the fabric, so I want you to take note of that. Now we can proceed to cut this off. So because I'll still be using this pattern to cut out the back, that is why I'm not cutting off that slanted part. And also I'll be cutting 2 of this front pattern. Remember that this design, the front design actually overlaps. It's like a wrap skirt, so I need 2 of this front pattern, and this is it. I have 2 of the front pattern ready. I'll set it aside and use one of it to cut out the back, on the fabric. Then we'll come back and alter these 2 front pattern into the slash and spread design. To cut out the back, you want to go ahead and fold your fabric into 2. Now I apologize that the camera is not fully capturing everything I have on the table. I was unaware of this while I was filming. But what I have there is the zipper allowance. So if you want 2 inches or 1.5 inches, just add it as an extra there, where you can see an arrow. That is my zipper allowance. Then I went ahead to add my sewing allowance all the way at the sides, but at that waistline I added 1 inch for the dart. Remember I said I will be taking in the dart on this back pattern. So if your own back pattern will not be having a dart, if it will be dartless, then you just want to add your sewing allowance all the way, if it is 1 inch or 1.5 or 2 inch. Also, if you want to do a bump contour, then you can check this video that is showing on your screen right now to see how to go about that. But this is what I have for the skirt part of the back. The major difference is the zipper allowance that I added, and then the dart allowance that was added to the waist only. So I hope you understand that. Going back to the front, it's time to alter it. So I have opened up the pattern that we drafted earlier. So when you're drafting your pattern, please draft your pattern on fold. Okay, that opening that you can see at the knee area, you want to determine how wide or how exposed you want it to be. So from the full length, I'll be coming up by 2 inches, 2.5 rather, but I know that by the time I'm done sewing I would have 3 inches, so I extended the line that I have on my full length that way. Now that you've determined how high you want that place exposed, you have to determine how wide you want it to be as well. So I came out by 1 inch on both sides. The next point you want to determine now is the break point, where you want the wrap effect to start from at the side. So I came out by 1.5 inch on the hip line. So I'm labeling my point A, B, and C. Now I'll have to connect the 3 points together like this. Just follow through with what you can see me do. Just connect it with your ruler. So I'm marking it like this to indicate that I'm still going to cut it out. Remember, it's an overlapped skirt part. I'm going to cut it out. The next thing we are going to do now is to mark out the lines where we are going to slash and spread. Now on this side, on the shorter side, remember we are still going to cut out this remaining part off. I'll come down by 1.5. Afterwards, I'll come down by 1.2 till I have 4 lines marked out that way. Now on the other side that is longer, I'll be coming down by 5 inch. Remember to exclude the half-inch joining allowance. Afterwards, I'll come down by 1.5 for the second line, 1.5 for the third line, and the fourth 1.5 is ending on the hip line. So I have 4 lines on both the right side and the left side. So I'm just going to connect the lines together like this. Now I'll go ahead and place the 2 front pattern on each other like this. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out here. Now after cutting it out, I'll label it 1 and 2 and place it on each other like this to have a visual on what I'm going to expect once I'm done sewing. Now you can see that space there. If you want yours to be wider, now is the time to alter it and change it. Afterwards, I'll go ahead and fold it, then trim off that excess that we have at the upper part that we measured out earlier. Go ahead and label the slash and spread A, B, C, D, and E, because I'll be cutting it off completely in order not to miss out on any pattern. So you can see how I'm slashing through my patterns completely, except for the last one where I did not slash through completely. Ideally, what you are supposed to do and what I would advise you to do is to slash and spread on another pattern paper first before now transferring that pattern paper onto your fabric. But I'm using this shortcut by slashing and spreading on my fabric directly. Now on this side that I'm indicating with an arrow, I spread it by 2.5 inch, and on the opposite side I just spread it by 1 inch. So what I'm spreading it by on this side that has an arrow is double of what I'm spreading it by on the other side. That is because of how I want the outcome of my pleat to look like. Afterwards, I went ahead to add the necessary sewing allowance on the side and half-inch sewing allowance on that part that I'm tracing my hand over, and that is it. I've already added half-inch allowance at the upper part, and the hemming allowance has been added on the pattern already. So I'm just going to cut it out. So you can see I said 2.5 and 1.2. Yes, that's what I have there. Also, before cutting or while cutting, you want to make sure that you note all this size that I'm chalking out, the place where the plate is starting and ending. It is important. This will guide you when it's time to pleat the fabric. So make sure that you notch it. Here is what I have after cutting it out. You can see all the place where I added the allowance, so you want to take note of that. And this is what I have after transferring the pattern labeled one to the fabric. So I'm just showing you how to go about folding the plate before sewing. Now when you are done folding the plate, you want to place your pattern label 2 on it, just to make sure that you have not over pleat or under pleats and it matches up like so. This is why I said it is important to do the slash and spread on another pattern paper first before transferring to the fabric. That way you are sure that you're not going to over pleat or under pleat. Now the next thing I went ahead to do is to cut out the pattern label 2 on fabric. I don't know what happened to the video. I guess it got corrupted because it just stopped playing, but that was what I did. I added my allowance to the side and I cut out the pattern label 2 on the fabric. Now it's time to move to the upper part. So I've already drafted out my basic half scale bodice it is this pattern that I'm going to alter into a bustier. So that is the start point, and from there I have the shoulder to the chest line, shoulder to the bust point, to the under bust, and to the half length, which is 16.5. And there I have the shoulder measurement. I've gone ahead to draft the armhole. This is just my basic bodice pattern. If you don't know how to go about this, I have a detailed video on this already, and the link to that will be showing on your screen. Now, to start altering this pattern into a bustier, I'll determine the length of the yoke, which I want to be 7.5. I'll go ahead and mark that starting from the shoulder, which is the start point, and I'll represent that with a broken line. After which, I'll go ahead and make the bust part measurement that I've marked out more pronounced. The bust part measurement is divided by 2. For example, if the bust span is 8, you want to mark out 4 there, because that side is on fold. That is the center front, okay? And that bust part measurement, you want to mark it from your bust point all the way to the half length. Now, on the side that is closer to the center front, I'll be coming out by ½ inch at the under bust and at the half length. Then on the side that is closer to the side front, I'll be coming out by 1.5 or 2 inches depending on the bust size you are working with, at the under bust and at the waistline. Then I'm going to connect it together like this. Then proceed to connect it from the under bust to the bust point using the armhole curve, like this. Just follow through with what you can see on the screen. Now, on the yoke line, proceed to come out by 4.5 and connect it all the way to the bust part measurement on the bust point like this. And on both sides, proceed to come out by 0.8 inch on both sides for the over bust tightening. Now, it can be more depending on the size of the bust that you're working with. Now, proceed to connect the two sides together like this, and afterwards, on that curvy part, you just want to smoothen it out, because we don't want it to be a sharp curve. And now the pattern has been successfully altered into a bustier. So because of all this that intake that we have there, because all those places that I'm touching now, I'm still going to cut them out. I would have to retake the bust measurement, the under bust, the waist measurement, and even redraw the armhole, so that there will be no shortage in the measurement, okay? To take the new bust measurement, I'll place my tape measure on the first dart leg that way, and move whatever I have there to the second dart leg, and we take the bust measurement. I hope that is understood. Look, on the waistline, I will do the same thing. What I have on the first dart leg is 3 inches. I'll place that 3 inches on the second dart leg and go ahead to take the waist measurement. Now, doing this, there will be no shortage in your measurement at all. I'll go ahead and connect this together. Note that this is the actual bust and waist measurements. There is no sewing allowance there yet. Just to confirm what I did, if you take the measurement of the dart intake that would have there, we have 2 inches, ½ inch on one side and 1.5 on the other side. You can see that what I have after that, my initial waist measurement that I indicated with a broken line, is 2 inches, and same thing for the bust side as well. Now, the next thing to do is to take in the bust dart. So the difference between the front half length and the back half length, you want to measure it that way. And I'm just going to indicate it with the bust dart. We are going to be closing this off, because the front half length and the back half length, like I usually say, is always different. It's usually not the same. The front half length is usually longer than the back half length, and for the sides to match up, we need to take this bust dart. Now, I'll go ahead and remove the pattern this way, just to enable me to fold the over bust tightening like so. So if you have been joining your bustier and you discover that they don't match up, they don't meet up at the upper part, this might just be the reason. Because when you fold the dart leg like this, there's usually a shortage of ½ inch. That is what I'm going to indicate. So that new place that I mark now is where I'll be cutting out when I'm done. Then I would extend this other dart leg outside that way, just so that I can re-add the dart intake like I did for the bust and the waist. I can re-add it here and redraw the armhole curve. For the yoke, you can see that I have the combination of both the lace and the crepe. Now I'm just going to mark out where I want that crepe fabric to stay, and I came up by 1.5 inch and connected it to the neckline that way. So that place would be a lace, and here I'll be attaching a crepe. And now it's time to cut it out. Now this next step is completely optional. I just like taking in the dart on my yoke line to make it very firm, so there will be no gaping at all. I just extended the dart leg that way, and I came out by 0.25 on both sides. You don't want it to be too much, all right? That's a total of ½ inch. Then I'm just going to make my dart like this and close it off. And this is what I have. The front upper bodice is ready, and I've gone ahead to transfer it to the fabric and add the necessary joining and sewing allowance. Moving on to the back bodice is just the regular back bodice, nothing special. There is the start point, here is the chest line, and that is the waist. The half length plus half inch joining allowance that has been included. Then if you look at the screen, you can see that I have my zipper allowance also. I've gone ahead to input the shoulder measurement and the bust measurement, and I've drafted out the armhole. Though the chalk is not very visible on this fabric, I apologize for that. But if you don't understand this, then you have to check my video on how to draft your half scale basic bodies. So I've included that allowance into the waist measurement as well, and I will just proceed to cut this out. That is all concerning the back bodies. It is ready. The front bodice is ready as well. I'll set that aside. Now here is the sleeve. I have a tutorial where I showed how to draft this sleeve, a basic sleeve. That's why I'm not boring you or taking you through that process. So you want to check that out if you don't know how to draft your sleeve pattern yet. And that will be all for today. Now, did you gain value? Did you learn something new? Did you enjoy the tutorial? If the answer to all of this is yes, then kindly let me know in the comment below. Hit the like button also. Share, okay, you don't want to enjoy all of this alone. And subscribe if you are yet to. You can also follow me on other social media platforms. It's Easy Sewing with Tyke. Till I see you in my next tutorial. Bye.